Friday night, Central Catholic gave up over 500 passing yards, but got the victory over Kings. They're going to the state championship game Thursday night. A special win for the Irish, thanks to the special teams.
Hey, you know what? And then you know what they say. It's not about how you win. It's about if you win. And that's exactly what Central Catholic did. You know, their defense hadn't seen a passing attack like that. You can argue Ryan Montgomery prepared them for this. You can argue Blake Lichtenberg, you know, Caden Holmes, all the great Northwestern Ohio quarterbacks have set this up for this moment. But the defense, they prevailed. But like you said, the special teams are what made this team extremely special in this tight, close game. So let's just take a look at the tape. Petey, roll it. Let's see it. Great special teams plays. Javon Murphy came to play football this week. You know, again, when you have a guy that has a vision and the moxie to pick up a bounce football like that, that's when you know that your team is ready to advance to that next level. So let's go ahead and break this thing down. Let's take a look. Javon Murphy steps into the football. He gets some blocks right there by his friends. And you know what? It's a gutsy decision right there. And as he did that, he got help from a few guys downfield blocking. You see Mr. Alls right there with the one hand, manhandling that guy all the way down the field. Take one more look again. Look at the cuts, look at the angles, look at the great blocking. And football is about angles. And Javon Murphy knew that if he made two guys miss, that with his speed and his quickness and his agility, he could make his way into that end zone. On to the next special teams play that helped the Irish here. Surprise onside. Early in the second quarter, the Irish, they came with a game plan. They knew that it was going to be tough to get some big victories over here on the offensive side versus Kings. So you know what you got to do? Sneak a few in. You leave it to your kicker. He kicks him a little push punt right there. You know they practiced that all year and saved it just for this moment right here. But again, you talk about kickers being people too. Look at this one right here. Putting them up right at the end as time expired at the half. The Irish doing special things on special teams. We know how this thing finished out. Shootout, close game right here. And Mike Canning, yes, one of the top defensive players. He looks so distraught right there. But he actually got a hand on that football. And you know what? And that's what helped the Irish win this thing. Take a look again. That ball was right on the money. It was lined up perfectly. But that big paw of Michael Canning, Mr. number 94, putting all of his effort into it. You see it. That ball just fluttered and flailed a little too short and sent the Irish to the state championship.
So Central Catholic going to Canton. First time they're going to play for the championship in Canton. They've played in Columbus. They played in Massillon. They're at the Hall of Fame, Tom Benson Stadium on Thursday night. They're going to play Akron Archbishop Hoban, second-ranked team in the state. Central ranked 5th in the state. It's going to be a different challenge for the Fighting Irish going up against Hoban.
Yeah, you know what? And these two teams squared off in a scrimmage earlier this season, so they know each other. They're familiar. And actually, Central Catholic took it to them a little bit during that scrimmage. But you know what? Lamar Sperling, he's probably the top candidate to win Mr. Football. You know, they got Ja'Kai Long at the quarterback, and they got Crable out there on the outside. So they have it. They can present a different schedule. I mean, a different talent range, but their running game is what Central Catholic's going to have to worry about this week, far less than what they'll see in the past.
We talked about what challenges Hoban presents to Central. What challenges does Central present to Hoban?
Ty Juan Clark. We've talked about him plenty of times. We've seen him here on the Big Play Breakdown, and we've seen him all season long on BCSN. He's the difference maker. What he can do with his feet, his moxie, he's tough, and he's grown up over the years. And you got to love what he's done with throwing the football late in the season. But more importantly, it's about that ground game. And you can't talk about the ground game unless you talk about the offensive line. We'll talk about Chris Edmonds in a second. But up front, this big offensive line does such a good job of creating holes, and they have about 6 or 7 guys that they can rotate through. So the Irish is not really thin at the offensive line spot. That's their cornerstone of this offense. But Chris Edmonds, he does all the extra work when he can catch the ball at the backfield. He runs really well, and he makes guys miss, and he can beat you with his speed. So he's a total package at running back. This offense is going to be set up for some fireworks against Archbishop Hoban.
I like the maturity we saw to Ty Clark. He had that tough fumble in the fourth quarter that could have put the game away. Yeah. He bounced back. He led them down the field to get that go-ahead touchdown late in the fourth quarter. So great maturity out of the senior for Central Catholic. Mike Rupp, thanks so much for coming in. Central Catholic, 7 o'clock Thursday night in Canton.